And we're live. We are live again. Back for another Drinks with Chris live. I hope you've all had a good weekend. Not the best over here in Wales. It's all gone a bit wet and windy at the moment. But yeah, just hope you've had a good weekend, and we're back for another Monday now. Back for giving it our all from Monday onwards. So I'm just bringing myself a nice cup of coffee here. Trying not to drink too much alcohol at the moment. Trying to cut back a little bit after the weekend. And I'm going to try and get back into a bit more of a fitness regime. Get out running and kind of get myself back into shape. So I haven't dropped out of shape very much. It's just that I was drinking too much alcohol and I was missing some runs and things like that. So I've decided, okay, that's it now. I need to book all my ideas up a little bit. Yeah, so what else has been going on? I don't know. We've still got the lockdown kind of worries over here in the UK. I don't know where you're watching from, but it just seems to be the same everywhere, doesn't it? It's a bit sad, really. And then we've got the craziness of Trump getting COVID and whether he has or not had coronavirus. It's all a bit mad, really. It just doesn't feel real anymore, the world we're living in. But yeah, I mean, my advice is just kind of don't let it get to you too much. It's hard not to, though, isn't it? With the internet and so much rubbish being thrown at you all the time, you've just got to try and look after yourself and just remember that it's not real. Remember that that's kind of all of that's going on is somewhere else. It's not your life, is it? So just make sure that you're looking after yourself. Make sure that you're not you're not letting somebody on the opposite side of the world affect your life. It doesn't matter. I mean, the people complaining about Donald Trump, people from the UK, from Australia, from Europe, it's not as crazy as it sounds. It's not our problem. It's not your problem. So let it go. Let it go. Life's way too short to be worrying about some guy on the opposite side of the planet. So I welcome you all anyway. Welcome to Drinks with Chris Live. Please, if you've got any comments at any point or you want to kind of say anything, then pop them down on the live chat, and I'll keep checking my live chat, and I'll answer your questions and bring you into the discussion. I want it to be kind of two-way. I don't want it just to be me talking and spouting all the time. Let me know what you think, and let's talk. Let's see what's going on in the world. So today, what I'm hoping to get out of today is to show people that in all of this madness that's going on in the world, there are people out there who are doing some really interesting, amazing things with their life, becoming extremely successful in what they do. And I just feel that we can learn from these people. We can just take kind of the bits that we need to enhance our own life and to learn from. I mean, they may be kind of further along in their journey of success in the area that we want to achieve in, and so why not learn from these people? I mean, in the past it wasn't easy to follow really successful people day to day, but it is now. So it's something that I think that we can, in our free time, it's like taking a course or reading a newspaper or reading a book. That's what it's like to follow some of these personalities that are online. So there might be in the political world, there might be in the online world, there might be in business, there might be in sport, there's a whole kind of host of things that people are in these days. And there are really inspirational people out there who are doing things and not going overboard with what they're doing. On the flip side, there's a lot of celebrities out there who are kind of trying to use their clout at the moment to kind of fearmonger, to affect elections, to just all of this sort of thing, and it's people don't care. Just use your talent. If you're a celeb, just use your talent. Nobody gives a shit about kind of who you want to win an election. The normal people don't care about that. So sometimes it ruins the fantasy of celebrity, of that person that you really like. It ruins it, because they just become assholes. There's a lot of I'm not going to name them in this because this episode is just about positivity and really kind of talking about the people who I think are inspirational. They influence me, and I'm kind of following what their teachings because I think it's so valuable. So it's all about positivity, nothing kind of negative about this. So, and I'd say kind of for people who to inspire you and to influence you, and people that you can respect, first and foremost, look around you, look around at the people around you, obviously first, and take kind of comfort in knowing that you've got people around you that care for you, who are close to you. So I'm not saying go and reach out to people, to celebrities, to public figures and things like that for all of your inspiration, for your immediate needs and kind of your happiness. It's about the people that you surround yourself with. So I'm not saying kick those out of your life and look for external influences. I'm saying it's also beneficial, in my opinion, to look at people who are smashing it in their field, and there's a lot of those out there. So the kind of, it's a case of, for example, if you were a footballer, these days you can analyse and watch many videos of that footballer. So if you're a young person and you love football and you want to be a footballer, there's lots of material out there, lots of content for you to go and watch to improve what you do, give you new ideas and kind of lead you down different paths that we wouldn't have had if it wasn't for the internet. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that some of the people that I've found influential, inspirational, and who I like to consume their content in my free time, because I feel that it enriches my mind, and it helps me to question different things, and so I think I think that's something that we can all kind of learn to do if it's the right people. So with regards to the people that I follow, I never have followed the traditional or the crowd, or I like to follow people who are a little bit crazy, who are trying new things, who aren't afraid to fail. So I think that's reflected in this list of people. So I don't care if you judge me, but my message is don't judge each other. So if you want to judge me on this list, I don't care, but I just want you to take away. So if you switch off now, that's fine, but I want you to take away not to judge each other. And regardless of what people think, so for example, it may be a public figure, somebody who's influential, who has a certain political view, or has a message that they've put out there. Don't always judge people on that, because we've all got different experiences, and it's not, you can still enjoy somebody even though they have a political view, a different political view to you. That's one of the reasons why the world's in such a mess that it is now, and so divided, because people listen to one political view and then that's it. It's backs against the wall. Oh no, oh that's the opposite to me. Oh hang on a second, hang on. They're the enemy now. They're not one of us. They're the enemy. And that's not how it should be. We've lost all ability. I was talking to a friend of mine, Mauricio, a Colombian friend of mine who lives in Canada, the other day, and we were just saying that people seem to have lost the ability to be empathetic these days. That when somebody makes a mistake, these days they're crucified. They make a mistake and they're absolutely crucified, and it's not how it used to be. We used to be more sympathetic, and so somebody would make a mistake and you'd say, okay, I accept your mistake, I accept your apology, or that it was a genuine misjudgment on your part, and okay, and let's wipe the slate clean and we go again, because we still care about each other, we're still friends, we're still family. You're still somebody I respect if it's a public figure, but let's not kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater is such a cliche, but it is that. It's like saying I'm gonna dismiss everything that you're good at because of one view that you've got, and we need to get past that now. That's how we're gonna come together again as a world and as a society. Is to stop being so divisive and polar and kind of at the ends of the scale. And if somebody doesn't agree with everything you say, then they're a bad person. It's not that. Like, people are going to say things that my friends say things all the time. My family say things all the time that I think are stupid or even offensive. And I'll tell them that it's offensive, but I'm not going to say, right, it's offensive or I don't like what you've said and I'm no longer going to talk to you, because that is silly. Because people make mistakes. If we do that, then we just assume that everybody needs to be perfect and nobody's allowed to make mistakes, and it's absolutely daft. So, like I say, if you are like that and you feel that you don't want to watch the rest of the video, you're welcome to switch off. But honestly, I think you should just kind of go, okay, I'm not going to judge, and I'm going to give you a chance, right? So the first person that I'm going to introduce you to, who I find quite inspirational, is this guy. And so I don't know if you know who this guy is, but his name is Sean McBride, better known as, aka Shonduras, and his family. So these people they're such a really cool family, with his wife Jenny and their children Adley, Nico and Navy. Now they've just had a new baby. Excuse me. I'm going to drink my coffee while it's hot this week because it just got cold last week. But yeah, so Shonduras is so if you have children and you let them watch YouTube, then more than likely you're going to know who he is. For me, he's such a cool guy, and when my daughter kind of started to watch YouTube and YouTube started to just autoplay video after video after video, and she was watching more and more of a channel called A for Adley, which is Sean's daughter, and she became obsessed with A for Adley, and it's kind of it was a daily vlog of Adley, of the daughter, doing crazy things, and they set up different themes, like best day ever, where they'd just go out and do something crazy for the day. And it was, when I first started watching it, Sean, I was put off by he's got a personality that is very kind of crazy, very Disney, so he's really loud and really flamboyant, and so he's great for the kids. He's really kind of visual, and he's very stimulating for his children. And so here's a bit of an admission on my part. When I first saw it, I poorly judged him, and I was like, I don't really like this guy. He's just over the top, and God. But then the more I started to watch, and the more I was forced by my daughter to watch A for Adley, the more he started to kind of grow on me, and the more I started to want to see like kind of the next episode of Best Day Ever, and then he started to grow on me. I was like, this guy is really cool, and and the reason why I find him so influential and so inspirational for me is, as a father, he is really, nothing is ever too much for him with his daughter. He puts everything into being a top dad, 24 hours a day, regardless. And he's now got 3 children. And if you're a parent, you know it's how difficult it is. And I've got no doubt that he has his moments when he's not on camera, where maybe he loses his patience, maybe he's tired, but there's so many of the moments in some of his videos where I know it kind of shone a spotlight on me for maybe my shortcomings as a father, because I recognise that in some situations I would have acted differently, or I wouldn't have been able to put as much effort into acting out parts with my daughter. And so I'm like, wow. And that's where it's inspirational for me, that where Sean McBride, if you're watching this, this is where you inspired me, was that he was able to do that with Adley, with Nico, and just kind of constantly be going at 100 miles an hour, and not, he never took his foot off the gas. He never takes his foot off the gas. He's 100% there, 100% present all the time with his children. So like, yes, obviously I'm a good dad. I'm a great dad. But there are moments where life gets in the way. So business gets in the way, or I don't know, just a variety of things get in the way, and things weigh down on you, and so Sean he's just, I just find him really, just, there's no other word, just really inspirational for how he can continue with that energy of constantly giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. So I would if you've got children, I'd highly recommend you follow the channels on YouTube, Shonduras and A for Adley, and also he's got kind of all of the social media as well. Please go and follow him. And then just a little bit of a background then, on top of being a top dad, he also runs a gaming company called Space Station Gaming. So they enter competitions as a e-gaming team, and they've just won the World Championship, so they're pretty successful. But yeah, so he's kind of like, he's a businessman as well. He's recently set up a website for Adley, so that as they build up, by the time she becomes old enough, she's gonna have her own business and her own audience that have grown up with her and known her. And again, that's kind of, to me, that's 4D chess. Like, from day to day, I struggle with the day to day of being a dad and a husband, and trying to kind of push through with my own business and things. So he's kind of like playing a different game to me. So he's doing that side of it, but he's also got his business that he runs as well, which he's got quite a large team as well. So all props to him. I don't know when he sleeps. Not got any idea when that is supposed to happen. But all props to Sean McBride and his family, Shonduras. Please go and give them a follow, and you'll see what I mean. So I mean, that's kind of for parents, and yeah, it's hard being a parent. So anybody who does it and makes it look easy, I'm a big fan of. So thanks, Sean. So I'm going to move on to the next one now, and you'll probably be shouting at the screen. I don't know, actually. Like, if you're watching this and you're one of my friends or family in the UK, you may not know who this is, but we'll see. So this now is a guy who is YouTube famous. So if you're not deep into YouTube, you probably won't know who he is. But his name's Casey Neistat. And he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably the best YouTube vlogger stroke storyteller on YouTube. And he's massive. I mean, he's huge. He's got a massive following, and he became even bigger when he used to do a daily vlog. And the thing about that is, lots of people do daily vlogs. So what, you might think, but his vlogs were always super well thought out, super well edited. It was cinematic, or they are cinematic, but made to look amateur. So shot with amazing camera angles, but done in a really amateur way, on the floor, in his car, things that just add to his story. So what he was doing was, he was making, or what he does do, is he makes a normal everyday activity look like an adventure, like it's incredible. Like, so it might be his relationship with his partner Candace. There'll be a video and he'll just make it about their relationship and maybe some hardships they're having or whatever. But it just kind of, it drags you in because of how good he is at his job. And so people don't realise, but he was actually a filmmaker before he became a vlogger. So he knows how to make cinematic films, and the genius behind him is that he was able to pull that back to make it look amateur and make us believe that he's just kind of a regular vlogger who's just being really amateur. So because I'm on kind of my journey of learning about filmmaking, about vlogging, about podcasts, about YouTube, Casey's a must. So if you're a budding YouTuber, Casey Neistat is a must. And when you watch the video, I watch his videos with a pen and notepad, and I write down everything that I see him do. I write down the camera angles. I write down so many different elements of what he does. Okay, so he's got music in this section, and then he's used this transition to get from the beach and surfing back to his car. And I don't know, it's a case of when you see these people, don't just sit there, don't kind of sit and watch like a zombie. Take it in, really absorb what they're doing, look at what they're doing, and kind of just see what you think. Try and take in what they're doing. Use it as a lesson. Don't use it as just entertainment. Use it as a lesson. But yeah, so he's got a very cool personality, Casey. Really cool guy. So I look forward to seeing his vlogs every day and just checking out what he's up to. He's kind of he looks like a skateboard surfer kind of guy, and so he's got an interesting, relaxed kind of aura around him. But yeah, definitely. I mean, check out Casey again. I'm gonna put a link to all of these people to their social in the description, so you'll be able to follow them and kind of have them enrich your life as well. But yeah, I think just before I leave on Casey Neistat, one of the other things that I find inspirational about him is he seems to not take life too seriously. And I know that he does take something seriously, because I've kind of noticed that theme on his social media, but his actual videos, he's spot on, and he knows that they've got to be light, they've got to be entertaining, they've got to be fun. So yeah, Casey, again, if you're watching, love you, man. Like, keep doing what you're doing, keep throwing out those videos so that I can continue to learn. So yeah, Casey Neistat, that is. But again, absolutely huge, just really huge. And so that's what you want. You want to be following people who are the biggest in their niche, and just consuming what they do and their content. So I'm going to move on to the next one now, and this one might surprise you. Everybody will know who it is. It's Iron Mike himself. And the reason why I find him influential and very inspirational is probably not what you might do. You might understand it, but it's probably not what you're expecting me to say. You're probably expecting me to say he's such an athlete, and he's kind of a legend. He's an all-time great of sport and all of that side of it. But what I've learned recently by watching his podcast, Hotboxing, is that he's a really deep character, really knowledgeable character. So, and you never ever saw that before from Mike Tyson, never. So people may have told you that he was, but nobody ever, you never saw it. So in interviews, you would never see it. He'd just give you the answers for his interviews and for his press conferences, and even the interviews where he was aggressive and he didn't like people questioning him, and you were like, yeah, that fits Mike Tyson. And but since he started doing the podcast, Hotboxing, you realise that this guy has had an incredible life, but this guy is also like a philosopher and an advisor. So the people who come on his show talk to him about all sorts of different topics, but he advises them, and it's like coming from a place of wisdom, which is incredible, really, because you'd never expect when Tyson was doing drugs and when he was sent to prison and when he was an animal. That was when you would never have envisioned him becoming a wise advisor to people. to his friends, and that's what he's become. So Hotboxing the podcast, I highly recommend it, but I like the format. It's a really cool format. I really like it. But it just lets you see what kind of a person he is, and all of that was never accessible previously. But yeah, so one of the reasons why I find him so inspirational is that he's been through a lot. So if you watch his podcast, you'll understand. From his early life, he was, I believe, he was abused when he was young. He was scared of bullies. But then in where he lived, he was just kind of, is it Catskill that he used to live? He said that it was just the most violent, vicious place that you could grow up in. And then the media circus that followed him then when he became world champion at 18. That's not normal. It's not a normal thing to go through. So to go through all that, to then go to prison, to lose all of your fortune and everything else, and then to come out the other side so balanced, like that, it takes a really resilient person, a really kind of like a real soldier, somebody who can take all those shots and take all that pain and take all that criticism and scrutiny and people putting them down and all of that, and come out the other side and say, do you know what, I'm still Mike Tyson, and I'm still gonna be the person that I am, and I'm still strong, and I'm still here, and you haven't knocked me down. And on top of that, I'm also going to help other people. It's kind of, that's a proper inspirational story for me. So I've got a lot of respect for Mike Tyson right now. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw him in the on Shark Week, was it on the Discovery Channel, when he went swimming with sharks? Man, like, again, like, how many other people are doing that? How many other people, celebrities and things, and I'm not talking about any celebrities, I'm talking about the creme de la creme of celebrities. How many of them are going out and doing crazy Shark Week promos and things like that? And now he's going to go and fight Roy Jones Jr. in kind of just a fight for the times, just one of those fights where you always used to kind of consider what would happen if this fighter would have fought this fight, and it's just great, man. It's just really, really good. But the reason why he inspires me and he's influential, and the reason why now I want to see everything he says, I want to see every bit of content with him in, is just his story and the person that he is now, and what he's doing with his life now. It's just it's a lesson for people that you never ever down and out. Like, you might feel like you're at your lowest of your low, but you're never down and out. As long as you've got that fire burning inside you, you'll always get back up and you'll always get back to the top. And that's the takeaway from Mike Tyson. So if you're not following his podcast, I'd highly recommend go and have a look at a few of his episodes of his podcast, and you'll be really surprised, because he's got a kind of a host there as well, because I think the idea is that the host could ask him questions as well and get his input. But he's the host. He takes over and he asks questions, and one of the things I really like about him for podcasts is that he lets his guests tell their story. And that doesn't always happen. You get a lot of podcasts where people interrupt and give their opinion too much. Tyson doesn't. He says what needs to be said at the right moments. Oh, and so, like, there's some really incredible ones. One I'd recommend is Shannon Briggs, Shannon the Cannon Briggs. So, and he was another. If you're not aware, he was another boxer from just after the time of Tyson, but he fought Lennox Lewis as well, and he came from the same area as Tyson. So that's a really good episode. So get on over to Hotboxing on YouTube and check out some of his videos. Really inspirational. I hope you're all still with me. I hope you're all having a nice Monday evening, having a bit of a drink. So I'm going to move on to the next one now. So couldn't be any starker contrast really between Mike Tyson and the next guest. I mean, they'd never kind of he'd never get anywhere in a fight. Let's just say that with Tyson. But again, I want to invite you. Do you know who this is? Give you a few seconds. The guy, the man, kind of the one of the most well-known photography vloggers on YouTube, Peter McKinnon. Now this guy again is kind of an inspiration to me for the journey I'm on at the moment for making things for YouTube, because he knows he really knows he knows his bananas. He's really good. He was there when I first started looking at how to make videos, and so I started to watch some of his videos about how to shoot and kind of the equipment that you need, and how to do this, how to do that. But then he also does kind of some kind of lifestyle vlogging videos as well, which are really interesting. Similar to Casey Neistat, he's very good at telling his story, very good at his camera angles. So again, if you're looking to set up your own channel, set up your own business, then please, I'd invite you to follow Peter McKinnon. He's really good, really good guy as well. Very cool. And so yeah, so for me, inspirational for that fact of he knows his YouTube bananas. There's not much more to say about him than that, other than how fast he grew his YouTube channel. And I've seen a video, I think it's by a guy called Paddy Galloway. So if you search for Paddy Galloway also on YouTube, he analyses how people have grown how the big YouTubers have grown their channels, and Peter McKinnon's was a really interesting one. That when he started, it wasn't great. His videos just weren't that brilliant, and now they're some of the best out there. And I think like there's a lot of companies that pay Peter McKinnon to do their promos for them and things like that as well, just because he's one of the best, if not the best. So yeah, so Peter McKinnon again, I'll put his link down below. But really cool, really cool, and great personality. That's another thing as well. I get drawn, personality-wise, I get drawn to people who have a certain personality type, and it's usually people who don't take life too seriously, and enjoy life, enjoy the moments, and just looking through my list of people, I think kind of that's what my list is saying, really. That's what my list is achieving, is those people who, despite everything, can just continue to go and continue to be happy with the little moments in life. So Peter McKinnon, he certainly falls into that. So I'd, again, highly advise you following him, and just learning about filmmaking, about photography. The guy's one of the best. But the next one, we're going to stay within a YouTube theme, and if you're a follower of YouTube, you'll know this guy definitely, and it's Jimmy Donaldson himself, Mr. Beast. And you might wonder, if you know him and you know me, you might wonder why I find him inspirational and influential, because he doesn't do anything like tutorials or anything educational. He does mainly shock. What would I call them? Shock vlogs. They're shock videos. Basically, what he does is he'll set up kind of something that is just crazy, and film it. But again, he'll kind of get good camera angles and that sort of thing. But it's a lot more amateurish. But he's kind of one of the absolute giants of YouTube. And when you look at him, you would never think it. He just recently posted a video, I think it was yesterday actually, a video from 5 years ago that he made of himself sitting in his bedroom just saying, this is what he wanted for the next 5 years. And in 5 years, he said he wanted to achieve 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And I think he'd got 4,000 or 8,000, I think it was 8,000 subscribers on YouTube at that time. And he said, so in the next 5 years, he wanted to achieve 1 million subscribers. And I think he said that if his life, if he didn't do that, his life would have been kind of a waste. And today he's got 44 million subscribers. So he's a beast. He's just Mr. Beast. He's a giant. He's an absolute giant. And so one of the reasons why he inspires me is just that he started out with nothing. So there was a time where, pretty much as myself, so I think that's where I connect with him. But he started out with nothing at all. And he had I think he was filming on his phone. So he used to just record his videos on his phone and upload his videos like that. And he couldn't afford to get any flashy cameras or anything else. So his videos were very basic at the start, and he used to do a gaming channel where people could watch him playing different games. But yeah, so he was just really basic, a really basic setup. Couldn't afford anything else, but he did not care. And he just said to himself, I'm going to keep pushing on. I'm going to keep making videos, keep trying to improve each time. Each video I'll make something different and I'll try and improve that video. And that's the essence. That's the way we should all be with whatever we're doing, is just keep going and keep improving. Put one foot in front of the other each time and just keep improving on what we're doing. Because that's how you get to where you want to go. If at any point you just give up, that it's never going to happen. So you've just got to keep going. And the fact that he's done that and got to 44 million subscribers, and I invite you again, go and check out his channel, and you'll see what I'm talking about. His videos, for my taste, aren't anything special, or they don't bring any huge value to me. But I understand that for younger people, his market they're brilliant, because I didn't really explain it very well, but yeah, so the shop vlogs are basically he sets up a challenge or something that's really crazy, and he's just really good at kind of setting the right title, the right thumbnail, all of that jazz that you need to do for your YouTube videos. He's really good at those things, and it's just people want to see the things that the videos that he did. So for example, one of his earlier kind of big videos was tipping waitresses $10,000. And things like that. So people want to see that. Okay, so what's the outcome of this? What happens at the end? Or last person to take the hand off a car. I can't remember if it was a Lamborghini or something. Last person to take the hand off the car wins the car. So these are videos that you want to watch. I mean, these people, they've got to go to the toilet. Maybe they've got to eat something. But the last person to take the hand off wins the car. So they're desperate to. So it's like you just want to. You want to know what happens in the end, and so that's where his success has come from. But I think it's his tenacity that I admire the most. Like that he just kept going, just never gave up, just kept doing it, and then eventually he built himself a decent audience, and then he got bigger and bigger, and then it just snowballed to the giant that he is now. So and also he's a really nice guy. So you could imagine meeting him, and he's just super chilled. Like there's no pretense at all to him. He's just a really nice, genuine guy. So Mr. Beast, love you. Keep doing what you're doing. So we'll go on to this one now. I'm going to put the picture up first, and I don't know if anybody knows who this is. Do you? You may not. If you're not on Twitter, you may not know who this is. But this is a character on Twitter called Old Holborn, and again I'll put his kind of his handle in the description. But Old Holborn he was a notorious troll, internet troll, for many years before I started following. I didn't know anything about him, but he was notorious for being a troll online. Which isn't great. It's not great, but I'm from, again, this is kind of where my opinions might not, people may not like them, but things like, I'm of the belief that you should just not pay any attention to things like trolls. So what? Like let trolls troll, but also I do think that they perform a service, because they keep people honest. So this is where Old Holborn comes in, that he keeps people very honest. He shares information that shows people up, especially politicians and people like that shows them up to be hypocrites and shows them up to kind of not be what they paint to be. So so I think like the trolling side of it, I think he kind of grew out of that, and I believe he got into some pretty serious legal wranglings over his trolling. So he's kind of, I don't know, I see him as a political, kind of a political commentator at the moment. Although I don't agree with everything that he says. So this is where I go back to, I appreciate some of the things that he puts out there and some of the things that he says and some of the articles that he draws my attention to, because without him I wouldn't see them. But there's also quite a bit of content that he puts out that I don't agree with. So I'm an adult. I can discern between those things with people. So I respect him for the game that he plays, and I respect him for sharing the information that he shares, because it would not have got through to me if it wasn't for him in some cases. And for his other side, I can kind of say, okay, I don't agree with any of that. So what's interesting in this case is I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't go for a drink with him, probably. I wouldn't associate with him if I was to meet and we were to kind of become friends or anything like that. I don't think we'd get on in that way. But I can respect what he does, and I can respect his game. A lot of the stuff he does is highly politically incorrect. But I think there's room for that in the world as well. Political incorrectness. We've gone overboard. We've lost our mind. And the thing with political correctness is it's never about the person that people are complaining are being kind of having things said about them. It's always somebody saying it on behalf of somebody else. And what that does is it takes away the ability for whoever feels victimized to stand up for themselves and fight their corner and put down the other person. I'm not saying that in every case, but because I know that some people need kind of help or protection or anything else. But I'm just saying, like, there's too much political correctness that we've got to allow it. And I'll tell you why we've got to allow it, because somebody, and I'm just going to give an example. You might be in a pub or a bar, and where there's not a lot of political correctness still. So they're kind of places where you can go and be politically incorrect if you want to. But you can identify who the dickheads are with the people who might say something that is nasty or something you don't agree with. You can identify them because they're allowed to say whatever they want. When you take away that ability, it becomes more dangerous and more insidious, because those people want to voice whatever they want to voice, but it goes behind closed doors. So it becomes more of kind of being hidden away, and you want to know who the people are. You want to know who the people are to avoid or to challenge, and so just to be so politically correct is, in my opinion, it's not right. I prefer the chaos and kind of the free-for-all. I prefer people to be able to say what they want, but then to deal with the consequences of what they've said, not to silence them and say you can't say that anymore. And so, because they're not dealing with any consequences, they can go about their daily life being an asshole. So in that sense, old Holborn, like, I respect your game. I did invite him on the podcast. I've sent a couple of Facebook messages through to him, but I'm not big enough yet, I don't think. So but I respect the game and kind of no reason for you to kind of stop doing what you're doing, because you're keeping people honest out there. So I'd advise, if you're kind of like me, you enjoy a bit of free speech, you enjoy a bit of kind of winding people up from time to time, then please head on over to Twitter. Again, I'll put a link in the description. Head on over to Twitter and give old Holborn a follow. Right then, I'd say this next person, how many? I'm gonna have a guess at how many people, the percentage of people percentage of people on the planet who know this person, I would say you're looking at 70% of the world, and that's taking into consideration there's an awful lot of people around the world that still don't have internet, and if you don't have internet, you wouldn't know who he was. So, but I'd say 70%. I don't know what you think. But this person is none other than Joe Rogan, and he's he's gone stellar recently. He's gone absolutely stellar. It's insane. So he's now the $100 million man, moving over to Spotify with his podcast, and he was the original podcaster. And I say that with respect to the people who went before him, because there were people before him, including Tom Green, who used to do podcasts before him, and those were those kind of the people who inspired Rogan to do his podcast. But he just took it to another level. He was able to do multiple podcasts to the point where he was doing a podcast every day, have different guests on, and because of his style, he was able to, and his balance, he was able to bring guests from different sides of the political spectrum. Because of his curiosity, he was able to bring people from different backgrounds, scientists, sports people, politicians. He's able to bring all of these different people in, and he's able to make them all feel comfortable enough to talk with him. And that's a talent in itself. To be able to make people feel comfortable where they can express their real feelings, and I think that's where it kind of that's where he became so popular from, that people were really interested to know kind of who the next guest that Joe Rogan was going to have on. So I've got a lot of time for Joe Rogan, a lot of respect for him. And again, the theme runs through my list of people. At times he's politically incorrect. So I'm learning about myself right now. So at times he's politically incorrect. He doesn't give a shit about what he says. He loves life. He enjoys life. He enjoys what he does. He doesn't care if other people don't like it. He just does it, and he just does it. He's just himself. And so there's a lot to be said for that. There's like, enjoy your life. If you look, these people are super successful in their life, and one of the reasons about that is because they're so grateful, so happy, so live in the moment. So you look at it and you go, okay, actually, can I learn that from these people? That instead of letting things kind of weigh me down, the world weigh me down, negativity weigh me down, you've got to just let that all go and just live in the moment. That's what it's all about. So Joe Rogan, I mean, he was one of the people who inspired me to start podcasting, an attempt to build up a podcast where people will follow, and because I identify with his ability to be able to have different guests from different backgrounds and still be able to talk to them, because I'm happy to talk to anybody. So if anybody wants to come on my podcast as a guest, then please let me know, get in touch. But yeah, so maximum respect to him, a lot of respect to him. Also, I respect how he goes about, or how he talks about the way he sets up his comedy, and the way that he treats it as a science, and he treats it as kind of almost as the same as he does with keeping fit and mixed martial arts and sports. And so you've got to work that muscle, and you've got to learn, and you've got to repeat. And so I enjoy his comedy. It's not one of the best. He's not one of my favourite comedians, but I can watch like some of his stand up on Netflix or whatever, and I enjoy it. Like I do enjoy it, but I enjoy it more. I think I enjoy it more because I know the process that he goes through it over the years of watching his podcast. And he's talked about how he always carries a notebook, and he's always writing down kind of his bits and his punchlines and all of this sort of stuff. And he's kind of always constantly doing that. Again, I respect that game. I mean, what a workaholic as well. The guy never excuse me. The guy never stops. Never ever stops, and I mean, how he finds time to do everything, I don't know, because he records two 1 or 2 podcasts a day. So I think he makes a bit of time there. So again, you can learn from him time management. So he'll record 2 in one day, and then he might have, I guess he might have the next day off. But he's just immense. And then he's got his comedy, and then he's got bow hunting, and then he's got keeping fit, and he just doesn't seem to stop. So again, that's something that we can learn from. Resilience. When he's exercising, he talks about his inner bitch, and he'll say that sometimes his inner bitch will say, "Oh, you've done enough exercise now," or "Don't do any more exercise. You're going to be too tired today," or "You haven't got time," or whatever else. And he says he has to put his inner bitch in check, and he has to go against it. And I identify with that also. That when I go for a run, I have an inner dialogue going where I challenge myself as though I'm not myself. Which I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, or maybe tell me, do you do that as well? Do you have an inner dialogue where you talk as if you're 2 people? So, for example, if I'm running, I'll say I might be really, really blowing, and I might be coming to the end of my run, and I'll say, "Oh, you're a pussy then? You're a bitch? Oh, you can't put in this effort. Come on, man, this isn't you. This isn't you, Chris. Put that work in," as though I'm like a personal trainer talking to myself. Does anybody else do that? Again, top guy, and I think if you don't follow him, I think you can learn a lot from him. Another thing as well, he doesn't bite on social media, so that's, in my opinion, that's another thing that you should kind of everybody should follow with Rogan. Is that he doesn't bite, so he just does what he has to do. He puts his content out, he shows the world what he's doing, and then that's it. He doesn't. And that's what life's about, man. Don't worry about other people's opinions. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So, I'm keeping this theme. I've done this quite well. I didn't realise I had done it quite well. Cold coffee. Can somebody make me a coffee, please? No, there's nobody here. Shit. So, yeah, keeping a bit of a theme of comedians now and stand-up comedy, American comedians. I don't know if anybody knows this guy. Name's Theo Von, and the way I found out about Theo was through Brendan Schaub, who was an MMA fighter in the UFC. He's one of Joe Rogan's best friends. He would go on the show, and then I realised that he was doing other podcasts himself. So he set up his own podcast. He's got one called Under the Belt. King and the Sting was another one. Food Truck Diaries. So, and it was King and the Sting that I saw pop up. And so again, this is when I started out my podcast journey, where I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have to start consuming and seeing where the big hitters are and what they're doing. So they've got an intro. Okay, and then they have segments. Oh, okay, so then they kind of at the end they have questions, and so all of these things. It's a good way to learn what you want to do by looking at the big hitters. Anyway, so Theo Von then appeared with Brendan on the King and the Sting podcast, which I like. It's super light. I can drink a beer. I can, I don't know, drink a vodka, watch it, have a laugh, and not have to think, not have to really put my brain into gear. So that's needed sometimes just to relax. But yeah, so Theo Von, and his comedy is super. It's super intelligent, and a lot of the things that he says are not. They're very clever. You've got to understand what the joke is, but he makes it look like it's stupid or like he's not so intelligent. But I can tell people he's very intelligent. He's highly emotionally intelligent. For example, he had Jordan Peterson on his podcast this past weekend a while ago, and what I noticed was he was able to have an intellectual conversation on a level with Jordan Peterson, but then he also made Peterson laugh with his jokes because he knew how to use the right joke to touch kind of an intellectual, quite a serious character like Jordan Peterson. And I really like that. because again, I see that in myself, that I feel like I can connect with people, and I can understand how to make people happy and make people laugh, and that's a realization now. That's what Theo Von does. He makes people feel happy to be in his presence, and that's something to. There's a lot to be said for that. Is because these days people are too kind of they're not worried about kind of making people happy, being happy themselves. They're too worried about the nuts and bolts of life, going to work, going to the supermarket, doing this, doing like paying your bills, and when actually it's just we should be kind of spending more time making each other happy. That's what we should be doing, making people laugh, looking after ourselves, looking after our friends, connecting with new people all the time. And Theo Von, in my opinion, is a master at that. He really, really is. So, I mean, inspirational because I know he came from a difficult childhood and a difficult background. That you can see it's left its scars, and I kind of wish. I doubt Theo's ever going to watch this, but I kind of wish that that he would hear this. But he doesn't. For me, Theo Von doesn't realise that what a great person he is. So you can see in this past weekend, he does a solo podcast as well called This Past Weekend. And you can see at times when he talks about himself, and he talks about he's had a lot of problems with addiction, drug and alcohol addiction in the past, sex addiction maybe, I don't know. But he talks about that, and you can see that he doesn't like that side of himself. And he kind of, you can see he beats himself up over a lot of things that he's done and over the past. But what he needs to realise is he needs to just let it go. He's a different person now, and he's doing really, really good things, and he's learning through life. And so in the podcast, you can see him learning through life. You can see him discussing kind of how he learns and how he he's going. For example, he's going to MMA classes now, and also I think, for example, he doesn't always show. He likes to show kind of a bit of a stupid persona, but he's very intelligent. So, for example, I don't know if it's because of his father was Nicaraguan. I think, I'm not sure. I hope I'm right in that. I believe it's Nicaraguan. And so sometimes he'll say things in Spanish in the podcasts, but with like a really thick American accent. And kind of, so the pronunciation's really bad, and so it's like an American just saying. But some of the things that he says are complex enough that I know that he speaks fluent Spanish, because I speak Spanish as well. But so I can tell that he already that he's just doing it on purpose, kind of thing. So he's a really, I don't know, he's a really deep, complex guy, and so I'd invite people to go and follow him. His comedy is hilarious. Sometimes he makes me absolutely howl. And there's not many American comedians that do that for me. So tip of the cap to you, Theo Von. Oh, it's just coffee in here. It's nothing else. I'm just struggling to speak at the moment though. But yeah, so big fan of Theo Von. Big dog, man. But yeah, so I'd just like to. He influences me because of his humility and the fact. What I identify with him is you can see that he doesn't want to lose his roots, his humble roots. So he's not moving to a different location, or he's not. He doesn't want to drive the big car, and he doesn't want to become super famous. He doesn't like that side, I guess, because it reminds him of things that he's done in the past and kind of that scene. But certainly, yeah, Theo Von, man, please go and give him a follow. Again, link down in the description. And let's have a look. Who's next up in the... We'll take a little different turn now. Let me know if you know who this guy is. It's Gary Vaynerchuk. And so Gary, different to kind of the other people that I've mentioned so far, Gary's massive in the business and marketing world. So he comes from a family of Belarusian, anyway, kind of Eastern Bloc immigrant family. Went over to the US. His dad built up a wine business, selling it like an off license kind of wine store, and then he kind of started to market the hell out of it. Knew how to do it. He was a natural hustler, a natural salesman, and was able to like really grow his dad's business. But anyway, since then he's become a bit of a juggernaut in the world of marketing. He knows how to use social media, how to leverage social media absolutely perfectly to grow things. And his kind of philosophy is, and so I'll give you a little taster of his philosophy, is that it's all about kind of quality of content, but it's also about quantity as well. So you need to be posting a lot of content constantly, all day, every day, about whatever you want to promote. So your business, your life, your channel, whatever it is, you need to be posting constantly, but posting things that people are going to find helpful, find valuable. He's such an amazing guy, and kind of he comes across, when I first discovered Gary Vaynerchuk, he comes across as one of these internet gurus, business gurus. So he does a lot of speaking at conferences, and he does a lot of going on TV programs, on podcasts to talk about business. He's been on Joe Rogan, what sets him apart from all the other people who do your internet gurus is the guy's legit. Like, the guy knows his shit. He knows what he's talking about. And the other ones, you get the feeling that maybe they don't, and they're just saying it for clout, or they're just doing it for clout. He knows his shit. He's built up a company, VaynerMedia. He knows how to market the hell out of kind of whatever company he gets involved in. I would say Gary Vaynerchuk, if you've got a business, if you're starting a new business, if you're starting a new channel, if you're starting a podcast, if you want to grow something, he's an absolute essential follow. You have to follow him, because following his teachings and consuming his content is so powerful, and it helps you. It's helped me. He's just a genius in what he does. So huge advice is like, just follow, watch what he does, not what he says. That's what he always talks about. Watch what I do, not what I say. Because if you follow what he does and implement it for your projects, you won't go wrong at all. Another of his mantras, which I really like, is that he likes to. He always says about giving away your content and your value for free all the time. So whatever you're selling, whatever advice you're selling, whatever it is, you might be an advisor, you might be a freelancer, you might be whatever. Give it away for free in content, because what it will do is it will grow an audience for you, and then through that audience, then you'll have people contact you, and they want to contract you because they know that you've already given them value, you've already given them free stuff. And that's super powerful as well, because that creates loyalty. It creates people who want to do something with you. I mean, the amount of people that want to work with VaynerMedia because of Gary, I would imagine, it's immense. So many people. So Gary Vaynerchuk, he's all about positivity. So he's always saying it's all about happiness. It's just about happiness and being happy. That comes first in your life. So, I mean, think about that. Think about, how happy are you? Are you happy? And if not, what do you need to do to make you happy? That's what you need to seriously think about. Like, in your life now, what do you need to do? And make the change. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, or as Gary says, it doesn't matter what age you are. Like, make the change. If you need to change, do it. If you're happy, great. If you're not happy, then how are you going to change? You need to change something. You only have one life. You need to do what you've got to do to live your life happiness and positivity. So Gary Vaynerchuk, absolute genius. If you can follow him, you'll get some real benefit from that. Right, this one's controversial, I think. And I don't know if anybody can tell me who it is. It is Candace Owens. And the reason why I say it's controversial is because weirdly, like I see her as a really powerful woman, like really powerful, articulate, intelligent woman. I find her fascinating. I think she's just very, very good at saying things as they are, and she knows her stuff. So she's really well read. So you'll never catch her slipping. And the reason why, like I say, the reason why I think it's controversial is because there's a lot of people who don't like her because they're on the opposite side of the political spectrum. And so for that reason, just straight away don't respect what she's about. And it's sad, man, because she's so good, and her thing, and I agree with it wholeheartedly, is that black people in America are strong enough, powerful enough, they've got, as with any other people, they've got everything necessary to succeed, and that's what she wants. And the fact that people struggle with that, either to understand it or they don't like that, like, it kills me. It kills me because she's doing it for the right reasons. So again, I mean, there may be some things that she says that I don't agree with, but that's so what? Like, so what? Like, when you look at the person as a whole and what they're standing up for, and kind of, she's super impressive. She's a super impressively intelligent woman. So when you see it like that, it's you've got to look at it as a whole. And again, even if it's somebody on the opposite side of the political spectrum to you, you've still got to respect their kind of stance. And I don't find her, I don't know if she's insulting to some people. I don't know. If you think that she is, then I'd really like to hear about it in the comments. But I know that people don't like her. So, for example, I posted a link to this live in various places, and I had a few comments from people like saying, "Candace Owens, really? Like, are you really inspired by Candace Owens?" And well, yeah, I am actually. Yeah, because again, like one of the endearing things to me is that she doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit at all. So she knows what she believes, and she knows what she wants to teach people, and she knows what she wants to tell people. And she doesn't give a shit. She just sticks to who she is. She's authentic to herself. So that's why I find her so kind of impressive and influential. And I think there's a lot of people who follow her as well. A lot of people in the UK, maybe some, but a lot of people in the US. And I don't know. I'm not going to get in this episode. I'm not going to get too deep into politics because I want to keep it kind of positive, and but just some of the things that people, accusations that people throw at Candace, I just don't think are warranted, and I think it's actually a fear of losing clout or losing control of a narrative because she's able to show. She's able to show reality, and so like for her to stand up, I mean, I can only imagine the abuse that she gets, but she never holds any punches. She never holds back, and she ain't like, it doesn't matter who it is. She isn't taking anybody's shit. So I just think to do that and to fight that corner, and to face all the criticism. And to face people hating you and that sort of thing, it's impressive to me. it's impressive in the same way that Mike Tyson fought through all those years of being in a really bad place and having people throw things at him. It's just impressive to see somebody who's just so single-minded and so focused on what they're doing. So no, I'm a big Candace Owens fan. Hate me if you want. I just think as an individual, forget the political. So forget the political part about it. As an individual, she's very impressive. She knows her onions, and she knows kind of how to have a debate. She knows how to stand up for herself. And like maximum respect for Candace Owens. So again, if you want to follow her, if you haven't followed her, then I'll leave a link and you can do that. So let me know again just before we're coming to the end shortly, but just let me know kind of what you think about these people. Like, if you think I'm a dickhead or I'm an arsehole or whatever for some of them, then tell me. Bring it, put it down. I don't care. So this last one, I've already discussed him. No, that's Gary Vee. I've already discussed him, and it's Jordan Peterson. So I think Jordan Peterson's really kind of is inspiring. He's influenced a lot of people. That's disgusting. It's really cold. So he's influential for a lot of people, and again, he's come up against a lot of adversity, and a lot of unfair kind of attacks, and really, it's people who don't really understand. It seems to be people who don't understand what he's saying, which has been evidenced in some interviews with the BBC, with various Channel 5 in the UK. Various people have interviewed him and said, right, you've said this, and he's like, well, no, I haven't said that. That's not what I've said. And it's people taking his words, getting offended, kind of, oh my God, I can't believe he said that, and just kind of getting irate about it when actually they haven't listened to the full context of what he's saying, or even the actual words that he's saying, kind of about a subject. They don't listen, and so they lose what he's actually saying. So he's had to kind of battle that. He's had to battle health issues and depression, and so again, anybody who can do that and still continue to kind of fight for what they believe in and communicate their ideas are impressive to me. They're really impressive. He's extremely articulate. I like the fact that he's very, very articulate, and I've learned so much from him. I mean, when I first started listening to him, I didn't really understand a lot of the words that he was saying, or the concepts that he was talking about. I just didn't understand them, and so I've had to kind of look into them and learn what he was talking about. And so he's educated me. And so look at, I mean, that in itself, if somebody that you don't know can put content out and educate people, that's incredible, no? It's really powerful. So think about that for yourself as well. You can do things that can be inspirational for other people. It's not it doesn't need to be other people inspiring just you or educating just you. You've got the power inside to do that for other people. You've got knowledge, and you've got information, you've got experience that you can pass on to other people. So, like, go out and do it. That's what life's for. So Jordan Peterson is kind of, I don't know, he got painted as right wing, and I just don't think he may fall onto that spectrum, but I just don't think he's a political entity. I think he's more of a spiritual one, more of like he just wants normality, and that's all he's demanding is a bit of normality and a bit of consideration for normality and for what went before, and tradition, and again, there's something to be said for that. I'm not saying that we have to stick with the things from the past, but there's something to be said for kind of sticking up for those things and sticking up for that, fighting for those things. And Jordan Peterson's done that, and he's done it really to the detriment of his health. He got so sick and had to go to hospital in I think they took him to Russia. His daughter took him to Russia, but I do fear for him sometimes because having been around my mum who had chronic depression, like if he's suffering with chronic depression, it's crippling. And he's such a great man. He's such a great man. I genuinely think he's one of the greats, kind of the great philosophers, and he'll be looked back on like that in the future. It's just kind of you never fully appreciated during your lifetime, are you? But no, Jordan Peterson, I think he's changed a lot of people's lives, and he's just a really, really interesting man. So I want to say thank you to Jordan Peterson for kind of being you, and that's it really. Like, just because that is just you, that is just him. He's just fighting the good fight. He's just doing what he feels is right, and that's a takeaway from Jordan Peterson. Something you can learn is no matter what anybody says, if you feel that something's right, you should always fight for it. Don't back down. Don't cower away. Don't run away. Like, you should always face what you think is right or wrong. Like believing in something is really important in life, man. It's if you don't believe in anything, like, it's over. It's already over. So Jordan Peterson is like amazing. I'll link him in the description below. And the same with everybody else. Everybody who's in this list. So that's the end of the list now. Everybody else who was in the list, I'm going to put links to all of their social medias and things so that you can follow them. And then, like, it'd be cool if you can leave your comments about each person on this video, below this video. But also, like, go on to the rest of my social media and tell me, like, connect with me and tell me about your experiences of these people. And we'll have a conversation. Like, if you say, "Oh, I don't believe Gary Vaynerchuk, everything he says," or this is, then just go onto my social media and tell me, and we can have a discussion. Because today, that's what's missing, is people having discussions and kind of thrashing out different beliefs. These days, it's kind of one person has one belief, another person has another belief. They don't like each other's opinions, so this person blocks this person blocks this person, and nothing ever gets nobody ever learns anything. We can learn things. I'm constantly learning things by having an open mind about the other opinion, and it's important to do that. It's really, really important. So coming over to all my social media, and let's talk to me about what you think about these people. And also, I want to know what other influential people do you follow? So what people do you find inspiring that I could follow, and why? Put those in the comments as well. That's really important to me. I want to know who inspires you. Am I missing some people who I could read up on and who are like inspirational, good people, influencing your life? The more the merrier. The more the merrier. But the one stipulation is they've got to be good people. They've got to be good people. They've got to believe in something. They've got to not take life too seriously. And they've got to kind of not give a shit either. Like those are my criteria for people to follow. I like people who are free-minded, completely free-minded and open to experiencing anything. So please let me know. So listen, like, I've come to the end now. I'd be bowled over if you'd subscribe to this channel. It'd mean a lot to me, and we can do it again. I do this every Monday. Every Monday, either at 10 in the morning UK time or 10 at night UK time. So you just need to figure out, if you're not in the UK, just figure out the time difference. And I do this each week. I have a different subject and we talk about it, and so get involved. This week I'm going to just promote a couple of my social medias as well. So coming over to Again, the reason probably because I've got people like Candace Owens and some of the other people. I've recently opened an account on Parler, which was kind of shown as a right-wing alternative to Twitter. I don't see it that way. I'm still on Twitter, but I like to, if there's new platforms that have new ideas, I like to be a part of it and just see how it goes for a while, which I'm doing with Parler. It may be that further down the line I think, okay, this isn't the way that I want to go, but if there are different opinions on Parler that aren't allowed on Twitter, for example, or are censored on Twitter, then why would I not just have them both? And then I can look at both sides of the story, like I said, and not just not just kind of scream in my own echo chamber. So if you come over to Parler and you'll find Chris Russell again on there, and then Reddit, man. Like I use Reddit quite a bit to inspire me for ideas for some of the topics we can talk about on the lives. Come over to Reddit, Chris Russell, or Ask Chris as well. I've got a subreddit called Ask Chris. So any questions or topics that you want discussed in a future live, then go on to Ask Reddit. Ask Chris on Reddit and put it on there, and I'll then discuss it in the next live. I want to create a bit of a community if we can, where we discuss things, we talk about things, I mean, this life's too short, and this world is too big and vast to not have discussions and kind of follow people who inspire us and can teach us new and interesting things. And so that list of people, it's not exhaustive. Like there's a lot of other people, but those were the people who came to mind when I was just writing the list out. So there's a lot of other people who inspire me, and so I might do another one again in the future, but we'll see anyway. But so next week's live is going to be 10 o'clock in the morning, UK time. And the topic's going to be follow your own path and be happy. So I'm going to be discussing about what it takes to actually be happy and why following different paths in life that are dictated by different people that aren't you ultimately lead you to not being happy, and why it's important to just do what makes you happy. That's it, as long as it's not hurting other people. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Here in the UK, there's just half an hour left. If you're somewhere else in the world, then enjoy the rest, whatever's left for you. So next time, go and grab yourself a drink, whether it's alcohol or a coffee or whatever. Come and sit down and let's talk. Thanks. Have a great week.